Hello and welcome. I want to talk to you about a debate I just had recently over transgenderism with a fine gentleman named First Amender. Very cordial guy. He's a left-wing YouTube personality with over 1,000 followers. And he hosts a call-in show where you can call in and discuss a particular topic. He has a Google Doc list of things that are hot takes. So I picked transgender women are women and transgender men are men, which was his claim. We go over the gender aspect of it, not the biological aspect of it, although he does talk about it for a good deal of time. I reached out to him today to ask him if he wanted to add anything before I did my analysis. He said no, good to go. He asked me if I had any questions, and I was all set. So we eventually get him to admit that transgenderism, at least the metric used to gauge whether someone's transgender or not, is based on self-identification, which we end up getting him to also admit that it's unfalsifiable, meaning logically it can be rejected by his standard. Let's just get into it.
All right, we've got, that's a really funny name, Dickard Kane.
It is.
Right,
I mean,
Dickard Kane, you're being invited.
He's a brother of mine, probably. Plays,
Dickard Kane.
Yeah, you guys like
Diablo.
it? Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you, Deckard.
How are you?
I'm gonna, for the sake of the discussion, I'm gonna call you Deckard, not Dickard.
That is totally fine. I made this a long time ago when I was playing Diablo 2 religiously.
What would you like to talk about?
I looked at the Google Docs you have. I wanted to see what you thought about the, or what your position was on the first topic, the trans women are women and trans men are men.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Trans women are women by gender and trans men are men by gender, specifically. The sex never changes.
Okay. One clarifying question. Would you say this is descriptive or prescriptive? Like, is this like how it is, or is it
that statement is descriptive.
Okay, cool. That's
describing the way something is, not saying things ought to be that way.
Okay, yeah, cool. I figured it was. I just wanted to. I don't want to mix up anything before we get into it. So then you're going by the gender version of it. Okay. Is gender to you is a social construct?
Some of it is. Not all of it.
What part of it?
I think like the predication of gender is actually neurochemically constructed.
Okay.
But there are numerous things that are socially constructed. For example, like, I don't know, smoking a cigar. That's a pretty manly thing to do. Mm-hmm. Is it social that men happen to, like, we don't have like an allele frequency that says, men, thou shalt smoke thine cigar if thine connecteth Y chromosome.
I gotcha. Okay.
Right? So like that's social. But I also think that there are male typical and female typical brains, and some of that is actually formed just post embryonic stage and into a newborn baby stage, the formation of male typical or female typical brain, and it even proceeds further into puberty.
Okay. So let me just, I just want to make sure I'm not I'm not straw manning your position at all. You're saying, so gender is a social construct, but you believe there are biological factors to it.
I'm saying that some of it is, some of it is not.
Okay. So then when it comes to the description of it being a social construct, what portion of it do you think it's just the roles? How do you assess what is biological and what is the
we would have to observe some sort of biological implication for the reason why somebody behaves a specific way. I know, for example, boys tend to prefer things that crash, fighting, trucks, for example. Mm-hmm. Women tend to prefer dolls. And it turns out there's a lot of people will say that this is entirely socially constructed. It is not.
Okay.
There's actually biological imperatives. Oh my God, Big League Drew just donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Sorry.
No worries.
It's through Super Chat. If you think there are sex-typical brains, are there ethnic-typical brains? Why not?
Are there ethnic typical brains? Why or why not?
At Big League
I don't know why it's doing it twice. My apologies.
No, take your time. He's paying money.
How do I mute it?
There are sex typical brains.
That's annoying.
Are there ethnic typical brains? Why or why not?
I thought I fixed that last stream, but I guess I did not. Okay, so no, ethnic brains. There are haplogroups to specific brains, but not specific to like your race or whatever. Race is that is socially constructed. Anyway, sorry. That was the interruption there.
That's
Can you
okay.
repeat your question, Dickard?
I was asking what exactly you would separate. You kind of got into it, but I was asking what would separate the social
there was,
from the physical.
Yes, there was a test on rhesus macaques
Mm-hmm.
where they basically had in a cage, there were two toys. One of them was a doll and the other one was a truck. Mind you, right, a rhesus macaque doesn't know what a truck is, nor does it associate the doll as being themselves or anything. It was just a regular doll.
Okay.
And it turned out overwhelmingly the males played with the truck and the females played with the doll. Overwhelmingly, it was like 99% of the time that was the case. So understanding that the rhesus macaques do that, so as well do toddlers. So we know that this is far older than something that is socially constructed, for example. That would be an example where it's like, we may assume it's a social construction initially, but then when you study into it, you find out, oh, this is far more biologically constructed than you would assume.
Okay, so then you're saying because we have these kind of predetermined things towards specific roles, or at least specific, I don't know what we call it, symbols of masculinity and femininity. So you're saying that portion of it is what is biologically driven, and then kind of whatever other outliers would be the social aspect of it.
And mind you, like that's also a part of gender, right? Like playing with trucks or playing with dolls. That's a gender specific like trait. Now, are there boys that can play with dolls? Sure. Are there women that can play with trucks? Yes, also true. Like there are masculine women and there are feminine boys. So do you see like
no? I see what you're. There are outliers to the biological thing. Yeah, I do understand.
Yeah.
That. Okay.
And, trans people are also an outlier in the sense that they are sex atypical. And I'm saying that is more neurochemically constructed than what people would assume.
Okay, so would you reject the idea that let me figure out exactly how to word this. Would you reject the idea that the social side of it is based off of the feelings of a person? Is the social construct part of it? Is it kind of just a self-interpretation? Is this like I identify as such, therefore I am?
So I delve into that side in the sense very similar to how we like say diagnose somebody having depression or though being trans in and of itself is not an illness really. It's just understanding that
if I cough, I'm sorry,
to kind
by
of
the way.
Determine, you have to ask them.
If I cough, I'm sorry, by the way. I just getting over a sickness. Okay, so then you are saying it would be self-identification that is the kind of the metric. So
that's the way that we determine somebody to be trans. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Is that falsifiable?
Is it falsifiable? No.
Okay. So then, by my logic, I can choose to reject that statement.
You could, but it's kind of like it's like when you understand, for example, phenomenology, your qualia, like how you determine things to be real versus fake, or like the experience of something. So a good example is we're aware that bats can echolocate, right?
Yeah.
But we as humans can't experience echolocation. Like I understand that we could describe it. We could say, hey, it's this, it has this specific wavelength. It bounces off of walls. We could describe it like scientifically speaking, but we really don't understand like a bat in terms of like its experience.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that I do understand the point. I do want to. The only pushback I'm going to give you, and I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. If you're making a descriptive statement where it's largely predicated on an unfalsifiable, it would be logical for people to assume that it's incorrect, or that assume that they don't have to deal with it.
I see what you're getting at, maybe on face value, but we know that phenomenology is real. I don't need to, even though that all you have is someone's subjective framework. For example, like the color blue, the experience of the color blue. We know the color blue exists though, right? You can't
but that
really
would be
describe to somebody the color blue outside of like, I don't know, if somebody is colorblind, you can tell them, hey, it's this specific wavelength, but they're not experiencing it. Experiencing it and understanding a wavelength are different things.
Sorry.
Right?
I agree with what you're assessing. You're saying, well, the person who is experiencing transgenderism experiences it in some way that we can't comprehend if we're not experiencing. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
I'm saying that a trans person is experiencing something which we know is true under the basis that we can exhibit it in someone's brain morphology, and as well as hormonal differences or embryological differences. All of these are factors into what causes someone to be trans, but you yourself don't know what it's like to be trans, for example.
But it sounds like now I was talking about the social aspect of it. It sounds like we're now going to the biological aspect of it. We're saying, well, because X person.
No, you asked how do you determine somebody to be trans, and I said you ask them.
I said it's an unfalsifiable position.
Yes, because you're asking someone's personal experience.
Correct. So if I choose to reject it, there's no reason anyone should argue with me. It's an unfalsifiable.
Well, it's incorrect to assume that it's not a thing.
I
guess like you could have
hungry?
doubt into the person, but it doesn't mean like, I don't know, transness does not exist or trans people are invalid or anything. It's just you're doubting that one person.
Am I tired right now?
Are you tired? I don't know. Are you tired?
I don't know. Maybe. Am I tired?
I don't know. I would have to ask you. Are you tired?
Yeah, maybe. I could be wrong though.
Okay. Have some coffee. I'll guarantee you're not tired.
Okay. Well, listen, that's all I needed then. I appreciate it. And
all right, good talk, Dickard.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Dickard, sorry. See.
So I want to go over briefly why this argument fails and why I kind of just up and left and didn't go on. So I'll actually critique my own debate style as well here. The argument goes, transgender women are women and transgender men are men, and First Amender clarified that he meant the gender aspect of it. So he said in the beginning of the debate, he said, I'm talking about gender, not biological sex. So we get to the end, towards the end of the debate, and I get him to define the metric for me. I get him to say, the metric we use to determine whether somebody is trans or not is self-identification. So then you are saying it would be self-identification that is the kind of the metric. So
that's the way that we determine somebody to be trans.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. So if the metric is self-identification, and self-identification as a concept would be an unfalsifiable position because it's not based on an action, it's not based off of a state of being, it's not based off of anything, it's based off of how the person feels. Therefore, we got him to admit that basically the metric being used is an unfalsifiable metric. So here's the mathematical formula for it for all my nerds out there. It's a simple A equals B, B equals C, therefore A equals C. So we determine the metric for trans is self-identification. Self-identification is an unfalsifiable position, so therefore the metric for trans is an unfalsifiable position. This means, basically, simply put, you can't use this as a measurement for whether someone is trans or not, because you are using the unfalsifiable fallacy. And I want to critique my debate style as well. I could have pressured him more, but I didn't really feel that it was necessary at the time. After admitting that it's an unfalsifiable claim, I ask him, am I hungry? I think I actually ask him, am I tired? Which the reasoning for that is I'm trying to get him to ask me if I'm tired, because that would be the only way he would verify the information. Meaning if I'm incorrect about my information, he has no way to verify it. So I kind of took that and ran with it and left. I could have pressured him more, but because he was so cordial and he was being honest about his position, I had no... there was no feeling in me to where I felt I should have pressured him harder on it. So that's it. That kind of wraps it up. The thing to pull from this is generally people who agree with this have no real understanding of the topic. They have really no understanding of justification or logical conclusions. He based his entire argument off of a fallacious reason and unfalsifiable. And if we're building our arguments off of metrics that are unfalsifiable, then there's really no reason to take the claim seriously. He would have to make his claim valid, or to make his argument valid, he would have to present a new metric that isn't an unfalsifiable statement. He attempted to with biology there for a second, but earlier in the debate, he already admitted that the identifying metric is whether or not the person IDs. So the biological aspect of it was already forfeit at that point. You can point out anomalies, and you could point out to atypical patterns for men and women, but it wouldn't prove that they're trans, because we've already determined through his acceptance of the self ID that is the metric we use. So that's the whole argument dismantled, and I want to give another shout out to First Amender. He was very cordial, very honest, seemed like a nice guy. I don't know him personally, but that's how the argument fails.